everyone. I hope you are fit and fine. In the last video session, we had discussed about the half part of A Synopsis, the Swiss family Robinson, and we had discussed that how William and his family got into the storm and how they reached to the island or deserted island, and when they reached there, how they survived. It means in what way they had started their life, because they don't know exactly that when they will get the help of the others and when they will be released from here. But of course, their struggle teach us so many life lessons, because they had created so many things from the material or the natural resources which are available there on the island. So let's see, today we will see the half part of a synopsis, the Swiss family Robinson. So let's see, we are on page number 8, second paragraph. So I hope that you have opened page number 8, and let's see on paragraph 2nd. Thinking ahead of the next winter, father decided to create a place safe from the elements, a strong storage spot to protect themselves and their belongings. So, William, already I have told you, he is an intelligent person and he's thinking to create one permanent place or one a good kind of the place for his family, where he can protect his family as well as he can protect his belongings. Means whatever the material they have, so in what way they need to protect it in a good way. तो उसके लिए एक अच्छा सा घर बनाने की वो सोच रहे हैं. So let's see. Fritz came up with the idea of a cave. So Fritz has an idea. Fritz उनका एक जो बेटा है सबसे बड़ा, so he has one of the idea to create the cave as the permanent house or to protect his family. Not finding one, they thought of carving out their own cave in the rock, abutting their camping site. Abutting means having. It means now they have searched here and there on the island, but they didn't get any one of the cave. So they had all so now they had decided to carve their own cave in the rock, abutting their camping site. On the smooth face of the rock, father marked the dimensions for an opening, and they picked away at the hard surface with their axes, chisels, hammers, and shovels. Already we have discussed about these words. And they had used their instruments to carve the cave. And here they had taken the dimensions first. And here we have learned that how to use the geometry, because that is very important. And so with their axes, chisels, hammers, and shovels, they had started their work. And over the next several days, in कुछ ही दिनों में, the family cut windows in the rocks to allow for cross currents of air and for sunlight to enter the cave. So at last, after a few days, they were able to cut down the rock. They were able to carve the cave. And of course, they are very serious about the cross currents of air, क्योंकि अंदर हवा तो आनी चाहिए, and sunlight is also one of the important part. So they have created such kind of the cave where cross currents of air and sunlight ample spirit. So when they had finished, they had 4 rooms complete with a fireplace. It means at last they had created 4 rooms complete with fireplace. It means they had arranged the fireplace in the cave. They now had a new winter home, because in the winter season it's not safe to sleep outside. So now they have a good kind of the winter home. Because of the low light, the cave house they had built felt oppressive because light was so low. To remedy this, father and Jack reached up a new light. It means they are now thinking about to create the new light, and how to create it, that was the big question. So they found a bamboo pole that would reach from the floor to the ceiling. Then, after securing it, Jack climbed to the top of the pole and hung a large oil lamp that they had rescued from the ship. It means they had used the material in such a way that large oil lamp they had hung on that particular bamboo pole. And who climbed on the bamboo pole? Jack. The name of the person is Jack. Jack was the second son of William and Elizabeth. So let's see. One day they found that one of the completely destroyed and the cultivated fields around it had been trampled and ruined. Trampled means scattered and ruined means totally destroyed. So one day they found that the family's hut जो उन्होंने एक घर बनाया था that was totally collapsed, that was totally ruined. So there were huge footmarks everywhere. And whose footmarks it is? So you have the video in front of your eyes. So father saw massive damage to trees as well as many huge footprints which he identified as belonging to an elephant herd. Elephant herd means हाथियों का जो झुंड है तो उन्होंने उनका जो घर था तो वो क्या कर दिया था बर्बाद कर दिया था. So the next morning the family began to design a new defense to discourage all wild animals from entering their cultivated lands. They also finalized their ideas about new residents. This is the third or fourth time now they are deciding to create the house rather than building a house on stilts which the elephants could knock down easily. They would use four strong trees growing in a square near one another as the foundation. Now they're thinking about the defense. Now they're thinking about the protection. And to protect their houses, they decided to grow the trees in such a way in a square near one another as the foundation. And the trees were of equal size. यानी उन सारे ट्रीज की जो साइज है वो इक्वल होगी अप्रोक्सीमेटली 12 फीट अपार्ट 12 फीट की ऊंचाई होनी चाहिए या होगी. Thus they built another safe home. It means to protect from the elephants they had built the another house. 10 years passed. 10 साल बीत गए and the young boys were now young men and their parents were very proud. It means almost after 10 years were passed and all the children were now grown young. They called the island New Switzerland. They gave the name to this particular island. And what was that? New Switzerland. Many adventures occurred over the years. It means they have survived from so many adventures, so many problems they had solved. On the shore of another island, Fritz had knocked down an albatross. Albatross is a bird like that and he was knocked down. यानी एक albatross को उसने नीचे गिरा दिया which was threatening to attack him and found a rag tied to the large bird's leg. तो उसके पाँव में कुछ बंधा हुआ था. That was a rag. Rag means एक फटा पुराना कपड़ा. Right? That was the old cloth. And on the rag was a message that an English woman had been stranded on the smoking rock. It means one of the girl was actually is in difficult condition and she was on one of the where smoking rock was there. Smoking rock means where volcano was erupted and English woman was in problem. So when Fritz found that, Fritz had no idea how old the message was because when this message was written, nobody knows that how many before how many days this message was was written. So his father suggested that rock sounded like a reference to a volcano, right? So with this smoking rock, with this word, they had the idea that the island on which volcano was erupted. So on this island, this English woman was actually she was in problem there. So since there were no volcanoes in the vicinity, it means nearby places there were no volcanoes. द बर्ड माइट हैव कम फ्रॉम हंड्रेड्स ऑफ माइल्स अवे। शायद ये जो अल्बेट्रॉस नाम का जो बर्ड है तो वो कहाँ पर से आया होगा? मे बी ही केम हियर फ्रॉम हंड्रेड्स ऑफ माइल्स अवे। However, Fritz felt that someone needed his help and he was determined to do his best to find the sender. So now he was determined. उसने ठान ली कि जिसने भी ये संदेश भेजा है, so I will find that particular lady and I will save her. So before returning home, he had written his own note on the rag, retied it to the albatross lake, and had watched the birds fly off. यानी वो जाने से पहले उसने उस अल्बेट्रोस बर्ड के पैरों में फिर से एक बार वो जो कपड़ा है फटा पुराना उस पर एक मैसेज लिखा है. What was the message? Do not despair. I mean, do not take tension. Help is near. So Fritz then successfully rescued the young woman Jenny Montrose. So he went there on that island and he rescued का मतलब होता है वो उसने उस जेनी को वहां पर से उसने छुड़ाया, उसे बचाया. सो रेस्क्यूड द यंग वुमन जेनी मॉन्ट्रोस. दो शाय एट फर्स्ट, soon she got used to living with the Robinsons family. It means though shy at first, यानी पहले वो बहुत शर्माई, but after that she used to live with them. So what was the name of that lady who was rescued by the Fritz? The name of the lady was Jenny Montrose. What is her name? Jenny Montrose. So one day they saw a sheep, and this is just imaginary picture that how Fritz went to save the girl. So one day they found a ship which had laid anchor. An encampment had been set up on one of the smaller islands. So they found that some people came to nearby island and they were anchored. यानी उन्होंने अपना शिप जो है वो एंकर लगा के वहां पे छोड़ा हुआ है. आफ्टर चेकिंग द पीपल दो देयर स्पाई ग्लास through their spyglass, Fritz and his father decided to announce themselves after they had returned home and cleaned it up. So they had decided that they will announce that they were living here and now they have the chance to go back to their cities, to go back to their home. So let's see what happened next. So they did not want the crew to think they were savages. It means उन्होंने अनाउंस करने से पहले बहुत बार सोचा, बिकॉज अगर वो झट से अनाउंस कर देते सो मे बी द पीपल those who came there they thought like that they were savages. Savages means white people, those who are living in their tribes, or maybe समंदर के जो लुटेरे होते हैं you can call them savages. So the next day Fritz and his father met the captain and told him their own history as well as Jenny's. So everyone was surprised. It had been Jenny's father who had inspired the captain's search. He believed his daughter was still alive after 3 years. It means these people are in search of Jenny. Jenny जिसको किसने बचाया था? फ्रिट्स ने बचाया था. एंड नाउ शी वॉज लिविंग विद देम. एंड ऑफ कोर्स वो 3 साल से जेनी की तलाश कर रहे हैं. सो हियर द कैप्टन हैड डिसाइडेड टू अटेम्प्ट टू फाइंड हर. With a burst of celebration, the family, passengers, and crew of the British vessel headed towards New Switzerland. Everyone was amazed by the prosperity and good health of the survivors because they were very happy because after 3 years they got the success and they found Jenny Montrose. Right, due to her father, these people came here in search of Jenny and they were all happy. And as the day ended, the father realized that decisions must be made about who wanted to stay on the island or return with the ship. Now this is the time to decide कि कौन इस आइलैंड पे रहना चाहेगा और किसको वापस जाना है. So Elizabeth and her husband did not wish to live anywhere but on the island. So Elizabeth and her husband, what is the name of her husband? So the name of the husband is William. So they were decided that they will stay here. वो कहीं पर भी नहीं जाएंगे, वो यहीं पे रुकेंगे. and they had been there for so long, used to their life. So they said that now they would like to live their on this island. So Janie asked if anyone would support her return to England. So Janie would like to go to his father. To where? England. तो जेनी इंग्लैंड वापस जाना चाहती है एंड शी इज आस्किंग दैट कोई उसके साथ आना चाहता है. Fritz was the first to respond. He offered cheers for us who were going to Europe. Ernest, on the other hand, wanted to stay on the island. Jack also decided to stay back. Franz, the youngest boy, decided to join Fritz in living. So छोटा जो भाई था तो वो फ्रांस वो फ्रिट्स के साथ जाने के लिए रेडी हो गया बिकॉज फ्रिट्स इज इन with Jenny. He would like to marry with Jenny. So Franz wanted a chance to receive an academic education. Francis also would like to take the education in the colleges. So he is ready to go with them. Before Fritz left, he told his parents of his love for Jenny. Fritz is in love with Jenny and his wish to marry her. The father had kept a record of all the adventures. Now they were very happy on this island and they were now going towards the England. So at last the father had kept a record of all the adventures they had had on the island. It means William has written all the adventures details in his book, in his notebook, and he handed over the journals, it means the pages, these pages on which he had written the adventure details. He handed over the journals to the captain to be published because he would like to tell the people of his world that how they survived on this lonely island. Then the ship departed, and at last the ship was departed. This is just the synopsis of the novel. Here the novel was ended, or the synopsis is ended. If you want to know more about their adventures, you need to read the whole novel. If you get the chance, purchase this novel, or maybe you will get the ready-made soft copy on the internet. So search for that and download it and read all the details which are so interesting, which are so adventurous, and I hope that you will enjoy it. So with this concluding remark that this lesson taught us many life lessons. We learned so many things from this synopsis that in any one of the condition we need to be determined, we need to be persistent, we need to be perseverant, we should have the perseverance, and of course we should have that much confidence to survive, because without confidence it's not possible. So be optimistic all the time, because now today this is the time for us to be optimistic, because we're also facing the huge kind of the problem in the form of coronavirus. So I hope you'll be optimistic and be hopeful. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe.